called again?
Convincing Idiots.
Convincing Idiots.
Called it ham gravy.
I informed them that I sided with the stat man, not just anyone's opinion, the stat man Brian Fisher.
These kids today.
Jingle All the Way is in fact the best Christmas movie of all time.
I need to get Grandma a present, and my herpes is flaring up. I got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, yo, yo. I'm the millennial
We're
Santa.
three friends representing three different generations. That's our whole shtick. That's our thing.
Mm-hmm.
Nick got the whole poop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm standing in the sea
Caucasian.
breeze, holding a turd, just mightily. I'm just going hitting hats.
Anyway, on a lighter note,
See, out of the garage and ready to drive in 5, 4, 3.
And welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the vodcast. Welcome to the broadcast. Boys and girls, welcome to the show. This is Convincing Idiots. My name's Dean, the Zennial.
Brian Gen X. Is that your radio voice, Dean? Is that what that is?
Yeah, I was giving a little announcers zing on.
Mm-hmm.
Did you say who you were?
I did. Brian
Okay,
Gen
all
X.
right, cool.
It
Yes,
is now
yes.
your turn.
Okay. And my name is Nicholas. I am a millennial, and we are here for another episode, a cool episode of Convincing Idiots. If this is your first time joining us, we can be found on the internet page, Linktree. Just Google Convincing Idiots Linktree. There you're going to find links to Facebook and Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, as well as our email address is on there for you to contact us directly. Also, you can hear the soft, smooth sounds of our voices on any podcast platform almost that you prefer. And all of those links are on there as well. That's why they call it a tree. It is a tree o' links. So, you can go there, or you can go to our website. That is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. Just go ahead and press on that word, and it's going to get you there.
I clean up aisle pants.
Now that everyone's good and aroused, or some of us to completion, gentlemen,
That's where I'm at.
another episode of Convincing Idiots is here for
I
you.
want to say, I'm going to start it up by saying, welcome back, Nicholas. Welcome
thanks, man.
back.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yes, I had a fun little excursion in the Big Apple. The family and I went...
And you finally found that you did find the pencil to color in that mustache?
Found the pencil to get my mustache
Fantastic.
good and right. Yes, sir. Yes, we are ready to rock. Went to New York City with my mom and my niece and wife and the boys. New York City. It was a great time. We were there for about 2.5 days, really, all together. But drove to New York City, left the car parked in the deck there, and we stayed right in the middle of Times Square. Our hotel was right down in the middle of everything, right by Broadway, in which we went to see Hamilton on Broadway, which was... I don't want to be dramatic and say it was life-changing, but it was really, really fucking good. Phenomenal show. It's just I'll talk more about that a little bit in detail in a little bit. But good time with the family. The kids were great. We did a lot of walking. They were very good about walking everywhere. And we got on the subway, went to Central Park on Friday and walked around down there, and then walked all the way back to Times Square and through the Upper East Side and stuff like that. It wasn't bad. It was like a half-hour walk from one to the other. But yeah, ate some good authentic New York pizza. Had some delicious food. Went to a little Irish pub the one night. Just getting all around New York City. It was a really, really good time. Beautiful weather. It's like 50 degrees and no rain or clouds or anything. Sunny
Nice.
and 50 degrees. So perfect walking around in the hoodie weather. And just very, very nice time.
Somebody told me jazz cabbage is legal there.
It is. There are trucks and everywhere, just like selling things. You can buy a brownie. You can buy
I like brownies.
like a lollipop. You can
I
buy
enjoy lollipops.
gummies. You can just get a pre-rolled little joint for yourself. It's pretty impressive. Yeah, I mean, it's literally everywhere, and I mean, various areas of the city just smell like it all the time. It's quite wonderful. It's kind of like a utopian experience. You can walk right by a police officer and light one up. It's just totally fine, completely legal. So, lovely experience. Very, very nice time. Very nice time.
Very good. Very good.
Very much enjoyed.
So, Brian, how
what
have you been?
What have you guys been up to? How have you been since I was away? How is everyone? Are you okay?
Yeah, good. Just nice for me. It was more of a family time last weekend. Took mom out to dinner on Friday, which was nice. Took her out and we had some nice Mexican food. Good hanging out with mom. And then Allie's birthday was the prior weekend or prior week. I told you guys, and then we celebrated with her family for a while on Saturday, and then I went to hung out some with the guys that do the other podcast that came from Gen X with Keith and Skinner over at Cooper's house on Sunday. Watched some football. He built this very nice bar in his garage, like a tiki bar.
What a game that was, huh?
Well, we didn't see the Browns game. We saw the clunker Chiefs and Packers game, but it was still fun to hang out and relax and chill out with some other friends on Sunday. So yeah, nice weekend overall. How about you, Dean?
Well, we're still rocking Movember here, as you can see with the mustache.
Yep.
Still going strong. There's been a couple times where you pass a mirror and you're like, oh my, fuck, that's awful. But I'm holding strong on it. And other than that, I'm hanging out with the boy. Went to see a movie, which we'll
with the
review
boy,
later.
like as in your son or a boy, because the mustache is crucial in how that comes off. What is?
That's a valid point. No, my boy, my boy.
Your boy,
Carter.
okay, your son. Good, good.
We went and saw a movie tonight, actually, and didn't get into a whole lot. Not much. Just living and working and being awesome.
Right. All right. Okay. All right. So Nick Hamilton, he just started to talk about that a little bit. So we all saw some stuff over the last few days here. Obviously, you saw something very spectacular, it sounds like. So you want to go into idiot reviews, and we're not going to be able to probably top Hamilton on Broadway, but tell us about that and anything else maybe that you saw outside of that.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Hamilton on Broadway was... So I've seen a couple productions before. Not the first time ever on Broadway. I mean, never, I've been in New York City one other time prior to this, but never seen anything on Broadway. I think I saw like a performance of West Side Story when I was younger. My mom was a big fan of West Side Story growing up, and I liked the movies and enjoyed the songs and stuff like that when I was a kid. So we went and saw that when I was younger, somewhere in Akron. Very good, but nothing like this. Now, I don't know how familiar you guys are or any of our listeners are with Hamilton, but it's gained a lot of popularity over the last couple of years, especially since being filmed and put on Disney Plus. That's how
that's why I watched it.
That's how my kids fell in love with it. I don't believe Robin had ever seen it prior to that either. She knew what it was and stuff like that. But that's, Robin watched it. The boys watched it. They all love it. And, I'm was pretty familiar with it going into this. I'd never sat down and watched it all the way through. So that was kind of a cool experience. The fact that I was very familiar with the songs. They're played constantly in our house. I know a lot of the words to them and understand what it's about. But seeing it in person and experiencing it for the first time that way was incredible. Now, a little background on how this came to be is when my son Lane, he's such a big fan of Hamilton that this was his 10th birthday present, was to go to New York and see this on Broadway. So that was extra special too. I mean, he was on cloud nine. I mean, just like so, just motioning and we told him you can't like outwardly like sing the songs, even though you know the songs. You gotta, there's people around you that want to experience it and hear it. But he was just so over the top elated, and that was really special. It was beautifully done. It was fantastic. The story is great. The music is great. The choreography is great. Everything is phenomenal. But what really blows my mind is that Lin-Manuel Miranda, who made Hamilton, who wrote the music, wrote everything and did the choreo. I mean, that somebody can put a production like that together and make all that work in their mind. Now, in Hamilton, the center of the floor moves. It's in a circular motion. It spins. So there are moments when they rewind time and do callbacks to things, or in battle scenes or whatever, things freeze around a certain character, things like that, which can be seen on Disney Plus, the Disney Plus version. But yeah, just seeing all of that, watching it in real time and all the background characters and the way everything flows together, how the attention to detail that every character, whether they're playing Alexander Hamilton or Aaron Burr, a prominent character, or they're just a background character. There's someone in the background who should be in a battle scene, or they're, whatever, who is somebody in a pub or whatever walking by. Their choreography, the way they all have to work together, is so incredible, because if somebody's off their mark just a little bit, like, you're probably going to run into somebody, or you're going to mess something up. It's so important that everyone is on their mark, and it's really, really incredible to see firsthand and in person like that. The vocal talents were this was not the original cast, but the vocal talents that we saw that night were incredible. The guy that played George Washington was, I think, vocally, he stole the show for me. He was incredible. But everybody was phenomenal. I don't really know how to explain it. I'm kind of rambling on, but it's really something that, going into, I knew it was going to be great and all that stuff, and I was really looking forward to it, primarily for Lane and Robin's sakes, because I know how much that they love it. But even myself, I mean, it was just, a song brought me to tears at a certain point. It was just, really beautifully done. It was just very, really incredible night, something special to see. And I'm very grateful that we were able to get those tickets. Shout out to my mom for getting those tickets, and this was all her idea. She planned the whole thing, and we went in on it, and just, it was a really incredible time. The trip was great, but that was, it definitely was, rightfully so, the highlight of the trip was seeing Hamilton live on Broadway. So incredible production. Very, very pleased. So
Hey,
my
Brian.
I would what
Do you want to tell him, or should I tell him that it's based on a true story? I don't think he knows this.
Oh, Alex, is that the same guy that's on the 20? No shit, really, that guy? Yeah. Anyway, as far as interrupting Deans, it was a flawless victory. Flawless victory, 0 interrupting Deans. There would have been no time to stop, and other than the intermission, there is a 15-minute intermission where you can go get drinks and go to the bathroom.
And Dean can interrupt all he wants.
You can interrupt all you want, but it is.
Okay.
It was mesmerizing. It was captivating. There was, at no point did I feel any sort of lull in the show. So very, very good. And like I said, if you have not seen Hamilton on Disney Plus and you have Disney Plus, go watch it. It's phenomenal. The music is great. It's very clever. The lyricism with everything with it's set to kind of it's almost like a hip hop musical, but it's on American history. So it's just really well done. It's very clever. A lot of the ways that they do, there's one of my personal favorites is where Alexander Hamilton and Thomas Jefferson are having debates, and it's it's done in like a rap battle. Like they're basically rap battling each other, but it's at a town hall they're having a debate, and it's just little stuff like that they do throughout it is really great. But 0 interrupting Deans. Something I saw
historically correct, by the way. I don't know if you knew that or not.
What's that?
The rap battle.
Mm-hmm.
They did rap battle. Yeah. Something I did watch.
Maybe less historically correct is Nick saying that Hamilton is on the $20 bill, but whatever.
What's he on?
I think it's Andrew Jackson's on the 20. Right?
Correct.
What's
Jackson's on the
50?
20. Hamilton's on the $2 bill.
Ah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, no. That's Thomas
sure?
Jefferson. Thomas Jefferson on the $2 bill.
All right. Well, let's ask the old Google machine.
And living up to our name, Convincing Idiots, we don't know what's
Clear-
on America.
Well, all I know is he's not on the 20.
Okay.
That's Andrew Jackson. Yeah.
Andrew
That's
Jackson
Andrew
is on the
Jackson.
20.
Okay.
And
Clearly, we don't
Yeah.
have enough of these bills, whatever they are. in our
Yeah, all right,
pocket.
Mr. High Roller. I'm sorry, I don't actually have a $20 bill. Like, I can't tell you who's on one.
well, it looks like it
Alexander
is.
Hamilton's on something, right? He's on money of some
He
sort.
is.
The $1,000 bill, $10 bill, $10 bill, $10.
He's on the 10. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. See, I should know that because I have seen a couple tens in my life.
All right,
so
so
I
you're
have
right.
had
Thomas Jefferson was on the 2.
See, yeah,
But yeah,
$10.
well, I mean, I did know that he wasn't on the 20. That's what perked my ears.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And now I try to bust his balls and, realize that I'm a
He-
moron as well. So,
So
Yeah.
there you have it. There you have it.
You have to understand.
2 idiots.
This you have to understand that this musical is the most I have ever cared about American history my entire life. So you got to throw me
Okay.
a bone. I mean,
Well, that's good.
I'll
I'm
throw
sure
you
a lot
one,
of
all
people
right.
share. I'm sure a lot of people share that sentiment. It got them into
Yeah.
history and some
Sure.
different things like that. It sounds like a great experience, Nick. You got to be with your family. Something
Yeah.
you'll carry on the rest of your life. So that's pretty awesome.
Yes,
Good for
very
you.
cool. In my secondary idiot review, something I
Mhm.
did watch this week that was not on Broadway, but rather on Hulu. There is a documentary, and I think in episodes past, I've probably mentioned as our millennial that as a kid, the Nickelodeon Nicktoons and Nickelodeon.
Yep.
Even the ring call got tired of hearing his voice.
Man.
It just booted him right the fuck out there, didn't it?
Yeah. Just took him
Look
right
at
off the
that.
air again.
This time it wasn't for mentioning me.
Nope. 2 weeks he's on the show.
2 for 2.
This week and
2 and 2.
2 weeks ago. That's right. And he's
Right.
pulled off the air. Pulled off the air.
While he's about to give his Nickelodeon review of any sort,
Mhm.
let me go ahead and take this. Normally I'm doing segues, but I got a headache. I'm not feeling the best, so let me just go into the amazing, wonderful, beautiful, sexy and attractive Aaron Blake with Blake Insurance. Blake Insurance is an Erie insurance agency located in Barberton, Ohio. They offer auto, home, renters, business, or life insurance, I guess. It should have been written that way, right? You see, Erie Insurance is above all else in service. You want to call 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com for your free 5-minute quote today. If you didn't hear me, rewind it or I'll say it again. 234-571-5359 or visit BlakeInsuranceLLC.com.
Very
For your
good.
free minute quote.
You might save yourself a handful
Handful.
of Alexander Hamilton bills each month by going with Erie Insurance, Dean.
No doubt about it. He saved me.
Absolutely.
And he can do
Absolutely.
the same for you.
Absolutely. So-
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're reconnecting back there with Nicholas. Nicholas, can you hear us?
I
There
can.
you go.
I don't know
There
why
it
this
is.
keeps happening, but once again, I got booted. So
It's
you
okay.
guys just were staring blankly at me still, and
Well,
I'm
the
like,
internet hates your
As
face.
usual.
I guess so.
As usual. As
Guess
usual. So you were going into, so Dean just did the insurance read
Okay.
while you were away for a moment there. So you were
I vamped
talking
for ya.
about something else that you saw on Nickelodeon.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I don't know how far in that I got, but on Hulu there is a documentary about Nickelodeon called The Orange Years,
Okay.
and it basically covers their rise.
It was so bad because I watched it and realized it wasn't about me. Awful. I hated it.
Yes. Very, very upsetting. Yes. But yeah, it was just about their rise to, all the success that they had through the 90s with their, and their approach to kind of, instead of aiming like a lot of shows were at the time, television towards children, that was more about like what parents wanted children to see, and things that were very education driven. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but things they found that there was a certain market of kids that were past toddlers and stuff, but they weren't teenagers yet, and they're in this kind of weird in between kid phase, and they just wanted to make television for kids to be kids and not necessarily stress that they're it's educational or it's this or it's just goofy and weird, and it just let kids kind of be imaginative and things like that. And their outlook was really creative, and it paid off for them, and they had a lot of successful live action shows, game shows. The Nicktoons, the Nickelodeon original tunes they made, were wildly successful all in their own right. But it was very good. If you're of my vintage, and you grew up with that stuff, it's definitely an enjoyable watch and very nostalgic, and it makes all the little happy things in your brain dance around and think about all the wonderful times when you were a child. So that was good. Very good.
So Orange Years on Hulu.
Orange Years on Hulu, yes.
Very good.
Correct. What did you guys watch?
Dean, you saw a movie today. You mentioned that earlier.
I did. I watched after $71 million worth of box office this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I went to see today. Carter and I went to see The Eternals.
Mm.
Now, I watched all 2 hours and 37 minutes of The Eternals.
Wow.
You heard that correctly. 2 hours and 37 minutes.
Mm.
Now, okay, yes, it was a long movie. It tried to do a lot. There was a lot of different stories going on. They had to explain to you, unless you're an avid Marvel comic book reader, you're not going to know what the Eternals are. So I think they had to explain all of this. There's a lot of them. They didn't have the opportunity that the Avengers did, that each movie you already knew these guys coming in when it was the big movie. No, they started with the big movie and had to explain everybody's backstory, and plus there's a couple different stories going on while the movie's happening. There's a lot. It
feels very DC.
Yeah. Other than not as like visually dark. Lighting was good. Now, don't get me wrong. I did enjoy the movie. It was just, it had a lot going on, as in story and time. Characters were fun. I will enjoy seeing them when it comes out, or when they are doing other movies or another one of these or whatever. The characters were fun. They were funny. It was well written. They really shoehorned some story in there to, for some explanations on things, but for the most part, the writing was fine. There are 2 post-credit scenes, so if you're going to see it, stick around. First one's, pretty soon after the credits start rolling, and then the last one is at the very end.
Okay.
So just give you a heads up. Yeah, there are 2. One is at the very, very end.
Okay. I heard they mention a couple of DC character names
They
in
do.
the movie as
Superman
well.
and Batman at 2 separate times.
Interesting.
Really?
So it kind of brings the whole superhero world together, apparently.
Yep, they mentioned that. They mentioned there's a Star Wars reference. So yeah, they didn't hold back on any of that.
Huh.
They went for it. I think interrupting Dean's 3 hours. You're gonna. We talked a little bit.
I can't shut up for 3 hours. This is not happening.
Well, Carter and that's a beauty of going on a Tuesday night, at 4 or 5 o'clock in the evening. Nobody was there. It was him and I, and then another older father and son people were sitting on the other side of the theater. So you didn't, if he had questions or I had questions, we could reach over and talk. We weren't loud, but we loudly whispered. So we interrupted a few times. So I guess I'm gonna give it 5 interrupting Deans. It was average.
Okay.
Okay. Very good. Yeah, it sounds like a lot to work into one movie. You don't know these characters.
Could have been too easy.
Do you not necessarily care about these characters? We're going to tell you about them anyway. I don't know. I guess when they're introducing that many characters at once, you have to try to do. I don't know. So
You could, and I don't even mean that your two movies could have been time wise split the 2.5 hours. I'm saying the stories. You could have taken two of these stories and broke them up on sides, in two separate films, and been just fine. And you would have got the same. You got everything in two movies. Yeah, two shorter movies.
Well, it's making enough to probably warrant a sequel. That's like 160 million globally so far.
And again, the
like
characters
that,
do warrant a sequel.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, everybody played their part just fine. Selma Hayek she's Selma Hayek. I mean, she kind of doesn't she play the same role kind of in every movie? But no, it was
Is
good.
she sassy?
No, the older she's getting, I think you're moving from sass into like the wisdom ish of what Hollywood portrays older women as.
Okay.
You either got sass or you got like the smarter. Smarter. Kind of it's part of the review. Yeah, but no, it's all the characters are fine, and I like that the majority of them. I didn't know who the actors were.
Yeah,
and I like that. It didn't bring you out of it. Like you asked earlier, before we started rolling, about Angelina Jolie.
Mm-hmm.
You can't not think that it's Angelina Jolie.
Right.
I mean, she does fine. She's a fine actress, but you can't.
Yeah.
It would have been a different
almost
feeling for this character. She's too famous for it.
Yeah, she's too right. Yeah, like
totally.
She's an incredible
100%.
actress. Like, well, I mean, fantastic. Her, repertoire speaks for itself. But yeah, like it's Angelina Jolie. Like Angelina Jolie is a
Selma
superhero
Hayek
bigger than any of them in that movie.
Right. Selma Hayek was the perfect amount of fame for that role. I'm trying to think of who else. Yeah, I mean, the Indian American actor. He's a comedian. Najee.
Yeah, he's funny.
Anyways, he was fine, but he's once again perfect amount of fame for this role. But Angelina Jolie, although she did a fine job, especially for the role that she was given, did fine. But I think it would have been better, and you wouldn't have kept. Because there's a few times they pull the close up on the face, and all you can think of is, why is Angelina Jolie in this?
Yeah, like she doesn't need a Marvel movie. Like what?
Right.
No, yeah, maybe she's not in a whole bunch. If you can get into that world, why not?
Oh,
yeah,
sure.
I guess like Samuel Jackson would be along the same lines. He's just been doing it so long that I think we kind of got used to it. But Samuel Jackson is a actor well beyond needing to be Nick Fury in a Marvel movie. You know what I mean? Like he's Samuel Jackson.
I think
so
what
good in the
helps
role
him
to begin with. Boom, he was just so good. Yeah.
But also you got to think of if you're even no matter how big you are, if you're doing national commercial spots where you're constantly in the view, it doesn't make you as special. Well, let me not put it that way. It doesn't make you as I'll just use the term special. Angelina Jolie seems special because she's an attraction. She's in these big movies and makes all this money in these very few appearances, every year, every 2 years. Samuel Jackson's, you see him on football Sundays 5 times in an hour.
So you're saying
doing the credit card commercials.
Capital One brought down his demand.
No. And once again, I don't mean by bringing down. I mean by they make it more accessible to see, like accepting accessibility, if that makes sense.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah,
like you couldn't see him in a big movie or something that you shouldn't see somebody of his caliber in, and you're like, okay, well, I could take him in this.
Yeah,
I'm okay. That's just my opinion.
It's like I'm the Angelina Jolie of this podcast.
Yeah.
So it's something like that.
Not accessible.
Right.
It's something like that.
Not as easily accessible as Dean or I.
Both, I would treat
Yeah.
your mouths like they broke into my house.
Like Dean or I, they could be like, "Hey, do you want to do like a commercial for some microwavable like shrimp?" And we'd be like, "Absolutely." But like Brian, they wouldn't even dare ask. It was like, "No, dude, Brian is
They
podcasting.
know better to even attempt it.
Brian Fisher is podcasting. That's
Well, first of all,
too high of an ask.
First of all, you got to contact his agent, who has an agent that you got to contact first.
Right.
It's a whole big thing.
Yep.
And you ain't even going to get close to the goddamn price.
Right.
That he's asking.
Yeah.
Now, this mustachioed face, you throw a bag of apples at me, which most people do for some reason, and I'm working. I don't give a shit what it is.
Well, they're
I
just
could eat these.
trying to keep you healthy.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Actually,
right.
just they see my body type now. Yeah, eat a fucking apple,
Have a
stupid.
fucking apple, you piece of shit. You ever heard of a fruit or a vegetable? Jeez.
Well,
Yeah,
I thought
that's
they
right.
actually wanted me to eat healthy until the second thing was a hand of grains and oats that they put under my chin. And I'm like, all right. I mean, I ate it out of them.
Sure.
So
Yep. Very good.
it's like Brian's. Anyways, where are we at, Brian?
All right, so I saw on Netflix new movie. It's in their top 10 streaming. I think might be their number one right now, but it's The Harder They Fall.
Oh, with Idris Elba?
Yep.
Yep.
It's a Western starring Idris Elba, like you just said, Jonathan Majors, who you might know as Kang the
Ooh.
Conqueror on the last
Okay.
Loki series, and Regina King. She was in The Watchmen on the HBO prequel series and some other stuff. What made this movie unique is it's a black director. Okay, every character virtually in the entire movie is a black actor or actress or extra. Everything, virtually the entire movie, except there are some soldiers, Civil War soldiers that are white guys. Other than that, every actor actress is black. But it's not what
They filmed the whole damn thing without killing somebody.
Probably, yeah, absolutely, right. Yeah, no accidents there that I'm aware of. No, but it was just, but I didn't pay. It just was something that was there, but it wasn't something that I paid attention to at all. Once I got into the story, it was just a it's a good old fashioned Western, revenge type Western type deal.
What was it called again?
The Harder They Fall.
Okay.
So Jonathan Majors is the hero of the picture, right? So he is coming back for revenge on Idris Elba, who is like a very scary bad guy in this movie, and Regina King is his sidekick. So they played such good villains that it's, you get that villain in a movie where they're on, and it just kind of makes you a little uneasy, like something's going to happen, and it's just kind of intimidating and stuff like that.
Kind of like me on this podcast.
Exactly. You don't know what's going to happen.
I understand.
It's going to happen.
He's going to say something he shouldn't oughta.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a good episode to talk about the best villains in movies or something. We'll talk about that. But anyway, just good stuff. Shot beautifully, good story, good acting. Jonathan Majors was exceptionally good in the role. Highly recommend. Check it out. Again, it's on Netflix. It's not going to cost you any extra than your normal streaming. I'd be interested to see once. I don't know if they put it in theaters, though, now that I say that, because it wouldn't be eligible for any Academy Awards or anything like that. But just solid Netflix movie.
I thought they changed the rule of that where Netflix movies can be nominated.
Maybe. I'm not sure. We'll see what happens.
Maybe that's Golden Globes or some shit like that. I don't know.
Could be. It could be. But I'd be surprised if some people didn't get up for some type of, whatever, a Golden Globe or something to that effect. So if you like Westerns at all, you like the basic formula of something happens, guys coming back to gun down the bad guys. If you like that sort of thing, you'll enjoy this movie. Go check it out. The Harder They Fall.
And again, that was the original plot
Netflix.
of this podcast.
What's that? Somebody to come back and gun people down, revenge type stuff.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's the guys from the reality football podcast like, give us Brian Fisher back. Boom, boom, boom.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
You're gonna pry him out of our cold dead hands.
just caught that on Sunday, so yeah, definitely worth a watch.
Okay.
So,
How many
right.
interrupting deans?
The scale of 1 to 10, I would give it like a 4
Oh, okay.
interrupting deans. So just above average for me as far as I like westerns anyway. I like the old Clint Eastwood westerns and all that type of stuff anyway. So this is right up my alley for a good solid western. So good stuff.
I
So,
hear you like things
check it
that
out.
are up your alley.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's right.
Play on words.
Yep.
What the fuck
Yep,
you doing
like
there,
the-
Nick?
There's a giant moth in my basement, and it's like freaking me out. So
You
that's
talking
fine.
to God there?
It's fine. Yeah. God, is that you?
You there? It's me, Nick.
Yeah. All right, we're
I
cool.
don't know if you're able to make things grow bigger, but
He was. You accepting wishes?
it's not a fucking genie.
It's the same thing. No, it's
All right.
the moth is gone. I don't know. He's
Good.
we're safe. It's good.
Okay. All right. So why don't we take a pause and we'll take a moth break. Take it, relax. Take care of
Yes.
any moths or other insects or other evil beings around or whatever it is,
That's
and take care of that.
I
and then
just want to clarify on the moth's behalf.
Sure.
I don't think he's evil. I just think he's he's a little
Bigger than
turned
you.
around. Yeah, it's a little frightening. Yeah.
just kind of misplaced.
Yeah.
But when we
Misguided.
come back, guys, let's do some idiots of the week amongst maybe some other stuff if we can get to it.
Yeah, that sounds terrific.
Okay.
But
Okay.
until then, listen to these dulcet, beautiful, sexy tones of one Brian Fisher doing his read.
So sexy.
Absolutely.
See you on the other side. Smoke
We'll
him
be
if you
right
got him.
back. Be right back. And welcome back to Convincing Idiots. So, idiots of the week, guys. Normally, that's certainly we all can make a case. The three of us at any given week.
That
Certainly,
we are the idiot of the week.
Yeah,
that's correct.
I think I win this one.
Yeah, you usually win as far as this show is concerned, and maybe friends in general. You're typically up there for debate. However,
I mean,
yeah,
can't be that bad. You guys got pictures of me behind you.
That's true. That's true.
Fanboys, what can you do?
Yeah, right.
So we introduced a new segment 2 weeks ago off of our live event. We had some friends that were there and suggested, "Hey, why don't you guys, you consider a Idiot of the Week segment? You guys are called Convincing Idiots. We like your banter, et cetera, et cetera." So we thought, yeah, we'll try this out. So we've been doing this the last couple of weeks here. Well, all three of us select an Idiot of the Week in the world of news, pop culture, sports, whatever.
What you didn't realize was what he was talking about was picking one of us.
Yeah.
each
Who was the
week.
dumbest
The
this
three of
week?
us just rotate.
True.
Yeah.
We just took it. We maybe misunderstood what he was suggesting, and this is what we're doing with
We
it.
pretended so our feelings weren't hurt, I guess.
So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, absolutely. So we all we present a case for an Idiot of the Week in the world, and then we debate a little bit, and then we arrive at a consensus in who is the Convincing Idiot of the Week, and there you have it. So, Nick, why don't you start us out here? Who do you have as your nominee or nominees for the Idiot of the Week this week, sir?
Well, mine is kind of came out last week, but I was not here last week. However, I still think that it's a big enough and egregious enough one to be the Idiot of the Week of any week or the year for that matter. also, not to get too dark here, but a trigger warning to anyone who has ever experienced any sort of sexual assault, but mine does pertain to that topic.
Trigger warning. What does that mean?
Trigger warning means if anyone is listening that has ever experienced sexual assault, they might be triggered to emotions that impact them negatively. So you say a trigger warning before mentioning something that could be emotionally upsetting to somebody
Is it
that
like
may have
yelling out
experienced
spoiler alert?
I guess so.
Okay.
I guess so. Or
Alright.
it just pertain. It lets them know that if they struggle with hearing about things of that nature, that you're about to, say some things about it. So either tune out for it or to just be aware. It's a caution. It's a caution sign.
Aren't you nice?
Trigger warning.
Trigger warning. It's trigger warning time.
How about that?
I like that.
Okay.
But
That
yeah,
was,
not
that
to
was
get
probably not appropriate. Sorry.
not to get too dark, but yeah, mine pertains to sexual assault.
What do you think? Some people are triggered by bad jokes?
We should, well, to put a
Those people should
disclaimer up there for trigger warning. If you do not like bad jokes,
yes,
do not listen to this. At
just
least
don't listen to it ever.
At least
Just
skip the
don't-
Dean portions.
Yeah.
It comes up just trigger
Unsubscribe
warning,
immediately.
a patch over my mouth on the video. Just says trigger warning.
I like it. Let's see if we can edit that. I like
All
that.
right.
Yep.
But anyway, being a hockey fan, if you've heard in the news lately, like 10 years ago, when the Chicago Blackhawks were in the midst of entering the Stanley Cup Finals, one of their young players was sexually assaulted by their video coach. This player, Kyle Beach, brought it to the team's attention through the chain of command. Different people were supposed to have handled it or brought it to the league, and apparently did not, due
With
to the
the
fact
video.
that they
Sounded like
were.
the video coach handled it.
Well, he also went on to assault a high school kid, which
Well,
he has
that's not it.
since served time for.
So you guys in jail now?
Yeah.
Or
Well,
was
I don't
at
know
least?
if I know he did. He's done time. I don't know
Okay,
if
good.
if he's still in jail or not. That I'd have to look up. His name was Brad Aldridge. He was the video coach of the Blackhawks at the time. Anyway, there's many names to name here, and not to give notoriety or whatever to them, but this is just a massive failure at every level. The league conducted an investigation. The general manager at the time, Stan Bowman, failed to bring it to the attention of the league. They tried to cover this up over the past 10 years. Joel Quenneville, who was up until about a week ago a very highly revered head coach in the NHL, one of the winningest coaches, was at the time, as of last week, still coaching the Florida Panthers, who were off to a undefeated 8-0 start or whatever. Turns out that his story keeps changing throughout this. That he didn't know about it when the investigation was filed. All the trail leads back to him saying that when he was notified of it, he said that they couldn't deal with it right now because it took a lot of work for them to get to the finals, and that they just couldn't deal with it right now. They tried to sweep this under the rug at every different level, head coach, general manager. So anyway, and then not to mention, I mean, personally, hockey teams are very close-knit groups of guys, so it also tarnishes a lot of the guys, the leadership group that was on that team at the time.
Sure.
You can't convince me that these guys didn't know about this, because there's been a lot of reports of certain guys have come out and said that, yeah, everybody knew, like everybody on the team knew. One teammate even went so far as to taunt this player and about the situation. So the Chicago Blackhawks organization as a whole would be my idiots. Yeah, it's a mess.
So the whole organization is the idiot of the week. Now, it's a Blackhawks player, correct?
Yeah.
So whatever position, rookie or
he was, he was a rookie.
Okay.
He was
and this
recently
is
called up.
And this is a video coach.
Yes. Are
I
you
don't wanna be
wondering about the
insensitive.
specifics of it?
Not
Or is
really
that,
the
I'm not going to go into specifics, but you're
right.
typically
But
and this is kind of
was it coaxing or was it forceful? If that makes sense.
it
Does
was
that question
forceful.
make
It was
sense?
threatening. He threatened him with a weapon.
So
And
that's rape.
oh yeah, 100%.
Okay.
You know, and a lot of people, and I think I don't know. It's
Well, I mean, my question was, and once again, it doesn't matter the severity. I mean, awfulness is awfulness, in gross, disgusting conduct is gross, disgusting conduct. I was just in my head trying to figure out, because you hear it a lot in like high schools or colleges, where like you have these underage kids that are, intimidated to say anything. They're intimidated to do things and stuff. So I didn't know how the adult thing. Once again,
Right.
I'm thankful that I don't know anything about that. I would just once again
he was
question.
threatened in many ways, both physically and also being a young kid with potentially his whole career in front of him. He was threatened also to have his career. If he told anybody about this, he would make sure he never played anywhere in the league again. He would never, his career would be ruined. He would never, all this different stuff. So psychological, physical, mental abuse, like checks all the boxes. So,
and what sucks is how prevalent it is in like sports in general. Like we said, there you hear instances of the front offices in high schools and colleges turning their back.
Mm-hmm.
And quasi protecting these coaches and adults that should know better, that have responsibility of having these children's futures and livelihoods in their hands, and they're abusing it in gross, disgusting ways. And management or principals or whoever higher ups not only turn their back, but some go out of their way to sweep it under the rug. It's just disgusting how prevalent that has been. Probably has always been, but it's just coming out, into the light over the past, 10, 15 years.
Yeah. Well, and it's a sad thing to say, but I mean, I think it's more for those of us who aren't aware. We are, like you said, we are very fortunate because, in a completely candid moment, if you look around your life, I mean, everyone knows someone who's been affected by that in some way, shape, or form. And if you don't, you probably do, and you don't know it. That person, they've never. It's a hard thing for people to talk about, and so it's it's just. I mean, it's awful, but I know it's not to get too dark here. Like I said, we try to usually have fun with Idiot of the Week. Maybe we make fun of some people. Unfortunately, this is just all out.
It's hard to make jokes.
It's just horrible, but it's just it's. I can't think of a more ridiculous. Just like I said, a failure at every different rung of the ladder up. Just everybody wanted to ignore it or drop the ball. No one was there for this player, Kyle Beach, who went through this and tried to take the steps, the proper steps to report this and get this handled, as difficult as that's got to be. Especially, I mean, I don't want to say especially, but definitely there's an element to a man being abused sexually, to not that anyone should ever feel that. I mean, if you've been victimized by something like that, it doesn't matter what gender you are or what your situation is. People should be there to support you no matter what. But there is definitely, we as males tend to have this. We're fed this kind of mentality
bravado,
that we're supposed to be strong, or where that thing wouldn't happen to us or whatever. And that's victims of this crime, whether male or female. That's what makes it so hard for people to report and talk about, unfortunately, is because they don't want to feel like a victim or feel weak, which no one ever should, because they're survivors. But that's just, it's just a horrible story. Really just a horrible look on the franchise, everyone that was involved, the players that played for that team, the league. It's just awful. So I will end my little dark segment right there, but that would be my just colossal idiot of the week, month, year, etc. But yeah, just crazy. So do you guys have someone more fun that's an idiot that we can poke fun at? And then...
Well, we're gonna poke some fun. Brian, who do you have for your idiot of the week?
We talked a little bit off camera what mine was. I'm going to talk about another one though, real quick here. So,
I
and
was,
then
I was gonna say I switched in my head actually.
Did you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll go back to the original thought, and that was Aaron Rodgers, the quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. If you are certainly a football fan, you know the story, and even if you're a fringe football fan and just watching the news, you know kind of what's going on here. So the story is he contracted COVID, and so this past weekend he did not play. He's in a quarantine for 10 days, which normally, okay, that can happen. However, the big story is back in August, he was asked point blank in some interviews if he was vaccinated, and he said he was immunized.
Immunized, that's right.
Yeah, which is just a play on words, obviously. He did not say he was vaccinated, and he was not following, at least it did not appear to be, in any news conferences and film, et cetera, following the protocol of if you are, now they don't mandate in NFL that you have to be vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, you have to get tested regularly, and you have to follow other protocol with masks and different things like that. It did not appear that he was following the other rules for a non-vaccinated player, and lo and behold, he catches COVID. Now, I'm not aware of anybody else in the team, at least at this point, that contracted COVID, but he was unable to play. Green Bay had to bring in their young backup quarterback who, did not play that great. They lost, and he basically is sort of portraying the victim card in "it should be my choice."
I'm doing my own research.
Yeah, all
Okay.
that. All
in
that
his
crap.
words, being immune, immunized,
Inoculated, not immunized. Yeah, I'm using your word. Immunized.
My idiot is rubbing off on you.
Yeah.
And that'll happen also later. So what he was talking about being it's hard, easy for me to
Immunized.
say. Yes,
Immunized.
that word. Was that he thinks that our bodies have a natural immunity, will build up and is strong enough to be naturally immune. So,
that's what Joe Rogan said. So, that's basically news.
Right.
And that's who he said he's consulting. He's consulting Joe Rogan, who's at this stage is a kooky podcaster, right? So we
When
aspire.
the fuck did that happen?
We aspire to be kooky podcasters at that level, but I don't know that we're going to spout off any type of incorrect medical advice if we get to that level. But anyway.
Let's not go there, Brian. It's probably going to happen.
To answer your question, Dean, when that happened,
we got a lot of episodes to fill here.
Yeah, sure.
Say, Dean, to answer your question, when that happened to Joe Rogan is when he realized that got more plays.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's probably right.
All right.
Probably right. Yeah. So anyway, he's being called out and he's playing the victim card and this and that and the other, and he's been taking a beating in the media. We had on Fox Sports, last weekend we had Terry Bradshaw and Jimmy Johnson, Howie Long,
they
Michael Strahan, all saying, "Hey, you're lying," and all this and that. And he was. I mean, all he had to do in August was simply say, "I'm not vaccinated, and I'm following the other protocol." That's it.
Nobody has a problem with that.
Yep.
Yeah, I choose not to do it, whatever. But that he chooses to take his platform and talk about all this kooky stuff and not realize that's harmful also to other people who are listening to this stuff, who's looking up to Aaron Rodgers. Just, we don't want to hear it. You don't have to take the vaccine if you don't want to. Just simply say you're not vaccinated. Follow the rules, what you're supposed to follow if you're not vaccinated. Now, I don't know what happens now that he's contracted it. I don't know what the NFL rules are if he has to do something different now, but now it's too late. And he's subject to fines, potentially. The team may be subject to fines. Who knows who he exposed to the virus until he was, tested positive. I don't know. And he's certainly lost some big endorsement deals, like the whole
endorsement
State
with
Farm, the Rodgers rate he lost.
He also lost that one, which is understandable. There was some sort of medical company.
Yeah,
that was,
exactly.
which makes sense. You say that medical shit and everything's bullshit, they're not going to look favorable on that.
Exactly. And then today, now he's backpedaling today, saying, "I'm sorry if I misled people.
Well,
I want to get back to football." So somebody clearly got a hold of him, his people or whatever, and said, "You better cut the shit because your value is plummeting big time outside of football. And if you want to have any type of career," I'm assuming that he said something like this,
right?
"Then you better shut your mouth and get back to it. Apologize, take ownership, move on. Nobody cares about your opinions and everything else." The only good thing about all this was the Pete Davidson impression of Aaron Rodgers on Saturday Night Live this past weekend.
That. I have to watch that.
And they were clever enough to run out and get this exact same shirt. That's actually why I wore my Doc Holliday shirt this evening. It's not the same shirt, but Aaron Rodgers was wearing a Doc Holliday silhouette shirt that said "Say When" on some crazy interview.
That is a badass shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that was very cool.
Pete Davidson went out and got the exact same shirt on SNL when he portrayed Aaron Rodgers at the during the cold open this past week. So he was like, "I'm Aaron Rodgers. Hey, remember when I hosted Jeopardy?" And it's like, God, that seems like such a long time ago.
Jesus.
At this point here, but anyway, so
when he didn't get the job, shit went downhill.
Apparently. So forget it now. If he was even in the remote consideration after football, or even commentating, it's going to be quite a while until he can work his way back up to that. So
you can't trust a liar to host Jeopardy. What if you're lying about what the answer actually is? Like, I can't play the game like that.
The question.
That's the truth.
Yeah,
we don't want any wacky hosts on Jeopardy. That's supposed to be one of the esteemed.
Well, they already fired one of the guys for doing some wacky shit, didn't they?
The executive producer.
All right.
For stuff he did like 10 plus years ago, So
he was the executive producer and then the host. So he had to fire himself. So that's a fucked up shit.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. So
why don't we just call Jeopardy a day without Alex Trebek and just be
that's what I was thinking. Just end it.
There you go. No, don't call it a day. Ken Jennings doing a great job, and then so is Mayim Blalik. They both they're terrific hosts. That show will continue. That show will persevere. So
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Anyway, so Aaron Rodgers is my pick for
fucking
idiot of the week. So endangering others, lying, and hurting himself, and losing endorsements and everything else, and playing the victim card where it's 1,000% all his fault. Nobody cares if he gets the vaccine or not. Just don't lie about it and follow the rules. That's it.
Right.
So
yeah, what a dickhead! Like, is it like if you're a teammate of Aaron Rodgers, like, what a dick.
Exactly. It's like I'm in huddles and stuff with you. Yeah. It's like just follow the rules, man. That's it. You're supposed to do the same thing we're all supposed to do.
See how hard I block for you from now on, motherfucker.
Right.
And these are all things that,
you don't
people
need
talk about.
Block for you. I'm sure your immunity is just fine.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you'll be fine. Your immunity is, you can't get sacked with the immunity like this guy. He's natural.
So strong. Huge.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I cost you the game at the very, and he cost his team a loss, right? So in this season, the
this NFC, is all on the heels of him bitching about being there anyways.
That's right. The NFC is so close this year where it's like, the top teams only have 1 to 2 losses, right? So, and they've just taken their second loss, and that loss in that game very well could come down to the difference of home field advantage in the playoffs. And there's a lot of different, football factors too, with not taking, essentially taking himself out by, not being vaccinated and not following the. And if he was vaccinated, that was a part of the thing too. If he was vaccinated, didn't have the symptoms and all that stuff, they let you come back quicker. So if he was vaccinated, he could have played, I believe, last Sunday, which is a whole other dynamic. But anyhow, that's it. That's plenty on Aaron Rodgers. So
maybe that's what he's doing, though. Maybe he's still trying to get out of there, and he's like, "I'm just going to be the cringiest dickbag I can be in this time."
Well,
and like maybe they'll.
Well, it's kind of like I said. If I ever won the lottery, I wouldn't tell anybody. I'd just be the biggest asshole until they fired me.
Right.
Yeah, just like on this show.
Exactly.
Right.
You guys don't know, but I won the lottery the other day, and I'm just doing this until you guys fire me.
Okay, well, that's an easy one.
So you were hanging on to this until you won the lottery?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I gotcha.
Man,
Okay.
All I had.
man.
I've got nothing else. I had nowhere else to go.
What's keeping you here? The lottery.
Aaron Rodgers, idiot
Yeah.
of the week.
Dean, who's
Yep.
your idiot of
Okay.
the week?
Was it? I'm trying to look up it was this small story here. Dude was going to work, right?
Hmm.
And he no shows his job to go dicking
Is
around.
somebody we work with, or
Hold on, I'm trying to find the story, but he no shows his job because he's dicking around New York City with his family. Real piece of shit. Like he just leave everybody hanging. Yeah. And all these everybody's depending on him, and he didn't do the greatest job at work, anyways. But still, it's still a warm body, which you need.
He sounds really irresponsible.
Irresponsible as shit.
Irresponsible.
Smelled funny, and he just didn't show up one week, and everything went to shit. And just because he wanted to be a family man.
Wow.
No,
That's almost unforgivable. Almost unforgivable.
Nike chauffeur. No, that's how do you pronounce that? Nick Schaefer.
Nike
chauffeur. You like that?
Nike chauffeur.
Nike chauffeur is the idiot of the week.
All right. Okay. All right.
What a
So
dickbag, Nike chauffeur.
Nike chauffeur is a huge dickbag.
Nike chauffeur and Aaron Rodgers are probably flat earthers, I bet.
I bet it.
Yeah.
all right. So it's time to make a decision.
Mhm.
It's getting late. So, of the three selections, Dean, why don't you go first? So,
Well-
who do you give the edge as the
I mean,
idiot of the week this week?
I was leaning heavily on Nike chauffeur. Nike chauffeur.
Nike chauffeur,
Mhm.
no Schaefer.
But I'm ultimately egregiousness and vileness altogether. I'm going to go with the Blackhawks as idiots of the week.
Yeah, Nike chauffeur is, like I said, it's pretty near unforgivable. Aaron Rodgers is the fun one to poke fun at. He is definitely an idiot in the intent that we intend the segment to be, as far as like, look at this fucking idiot, ha ha. But the Blackhawks one is probably the biggest failure as far as just in general. So I would have to vote for the Blackhawks as well.
Yeah, I almost threw in there the Ted Cruz dumbass battle with Big Bird on Twitter.
Yeah.
So, as far as
Wait,
vaccinations
let's keep
and
that in our
stuff.
back pocket and save that
Yeah.
one for next week.
Yeah,
Let's go in on that.
What is that?
We'll talk more about it. You can look that up. Just look up
Okay.
Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz, Big Bird.
I want to your opinion, because it's more than just a idiot of the week. That's a segment we can
Okay.
Yeah.
dive
I
into.
will be looking that
Yeah.
up. Yeah.
We'll talk more about that. And Nick, you said it perfectly as far as what we maybe thought this segment would be, of more the idiot, bad decisions and stuff like that. We're open to anything, right? So we talked about
bad decisions like Nike chauffeur.
Well, and our first winner was the idiotic assistant director who gave Alec Baldwin a live round and resulted in someone losing her life. So. Yeah, clearly this one here, as far as harm done to others, clearly the Chicago Blackhawks win very easily in that respect. Aaron Rodgers certainly did potential harm to others in the sense of certainly his own reputation, but putting his teammates at risk. And then who knows beyond that, to where you got somebody who's an Aaron Rodgers fan listening to what he has to say. And if they were on the fence to get a vaccine or not, they hear about Aaron Rodgers, superstar MVP of the NFL last year. he is against the vaccines. I'm not going to go get one, and who knows what happens to that person? Does that person
Right.
get sick and die? And just that's the type of crap that people don't think about when they're talking about all this ridiculousness and how it impacts other people. So who knows what harm is done out there? But that's all speculation. Who knows? These are clearly people who are harmed in a major way and scarred for life, who have been abused in that respect. So clearly that is the unanimous winner this week. Nick, you going to say something else?
Real quick, this really is somewhat off topic. It just made me think of it when you said, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers and who might be listening to him and the kind of influence he might have.
Sure.
It really doesn't pertain necessarily to what we're talking, but it just made me really appreciate when you think of popularity amongst pro athletes. Who's the biggest name in pro sports right now? Like across, who would be like the biggest name across pro sports? Like, let's say celebrity status. People look up to.
What's his name?
Tom Brady.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Okay, I don't think he's as big as LeBron James.
Okay.
But it made me think that aren't you just so grateful that LeBron James is like a good human being for all that we know?
Sure.
All that
absolutely.
he does,
No, he definitely is.
all that he says,
100%.
all that he stands for.
Sure.
When you said that, I'm like, God, I'm glad he's a good human.
And have you seen his new commercials?
Incredible.
Doing the tonal exercise machine.
Yeah, the tonal machine.
Shirtless.
Yeah, yeah, it's very
easy
good.
on the eyes. So
Very good. It's very good.
Good shape.
Just being in Times Square, you see big giant billboards of LeBron James, and
yeah, that's cool.
I think easily the biggest athlete at present day of the last, probably 20. I would say since Michael Jordan retired, he's the most famous athlete probably, across all sport platforms. But it just made, when you said that, I'm like, God, I'm glad he's like, definitively like the athlete that probably the majority of children look up to as a decent human. So good. Just a random shout out to, and like I said, as far as we know, I don't know him personally, but I've heard nothing major bad ever about him other than,
when Nicholas take away this, we grow him good around here. What can we say?
That's true.
But you're right. He does speak his mind on certain social issues and stuff like that. And some people definitely don't like that. Absolutely.
Well, those people are usually assholes. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also not. He's also, good for the local community. He's not giving, whether he believes or doesn't believe in it. I'm not hearing things from someone like him or like a Tom Brady or people like that who are giving you advice and beliefs that can harm you in some way.
Tom Brady was a
form.
Trump supporter.
That's true, but you don't hear him. I don't know that I hear him talking publicly about
he was answering
what he
a
believes
question.
in.
He didn't go out of his way to say it. Somebody asked him, so
Tom Brady's not telling you not to get vaccinated.
Right.
Now, whether he believes it or not, he's smart enough to keep his mouth shut on topics like that because he knows it can hurt his brand at the very least. Go ahead.
Right.
Although that newest commercial for Subway, he's doing the whole Subway ad, right?
Yeah.
And in the commercial, the voiceover person, when he says, I love this sub or whatever horseshit, and they're like, oh, you don't even eat. Yeah, and the voiceover is like, you don't even eat bread. Like they're calling him out for like being this. This health conscious or whatever what is a gluten free type eating, where he doesn't eat bread. I know it's not him. He didn't write the fucking script, but like, why in the fuck would you put that into your thing of like specifically saying your
just so you know this is all about money,
product. Right? Even if it's like a meta fucking joke you're going for, what horseshit writing that is. Jesus, sorry, that just made me think of that. Now it's been bothering me since I seen it the other day. So
that's a load off.
It is.
It is a load off. That's a load.
Really had to talk about that. Got to get that Subway commercial out of the way.
It really grinds my gears. You know what else grinds my gears?
Yeah. So
Night Chauffeur, that bag of dicks.
Yep.
He's my mortal enemy. If nobody knew.
Well, since we don't have Night Chauffeur, Nick
Mhm.
Schaefer, why don't you kindly take us out of this another amazing episode of Convincing Idiots, sir, please.
Absolutely. Well,
Hold on, real quick.
if yo
Mhm.
Wouldn't be a
wouldn't
show
be
if I
it
didn't
if you
interrupt.
didn't interrupt.
No, I just need to ask more out of Nick.
Yeah.
You didn't give us the Idiots of the Week call.
What?
Idiots of I tried to do it last week and I couldn't.
the week. Well,
Thank
I've only
you.
done it one
See?
other time,
There
so
you
I
go.
forgot about it.
But it's so
There
good.
you
But I tried and I just couldn't do it like
Okay.
you did. So I needed
So,
that.
Aaron Rodgers officially has been your idiot of the week.
See, other than you got the Idiot of the Week wrong, that was
The
good.
your Blackhawks is
Black
Oh
Hawks,
shit,
yeah.
that's right. Runner up. But the Chicago Blackhawks have been your definitive first place idiot of the week.
Yeah.
Thank
You know what?
you.
Yes.
I just thought of something here.
Thank
guys.
you.
Sorry. I have to just consider this last thing. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Mount Rushmore mustaches, Tom
Mhm.
Selleck. Sorry, just it just popped in my mind. It should be up for consideration. There you go. Just thought of
Just
that.
think about it.
Just thought about that.
Yeah.
So, Nick, you want to take us out, please? Thank you.
Yes, I would like to.
I'm so
I would like to.
confused.
Because
So for-
you guys are all forgetting shit that we've already
for the-
brought up.
Oh,
You've
gotcha,
done it.
gotcha.
You've done it in the same episode. Nick
For
just
this
did it just
episode
now.
of Tangent
His-
Time, I have
His
been Nick.
idiot of the
This
week
is-
won, and he forgot it
Yes,
that quickly.
yes, right.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
Anyway, it's been a great show. It's been a great show.
Wonderful.
Very enjoyable. Very enjoyable. If you would like more of this nonsense for whatever reason, you can go to our Convincing Idiots link tree. Type into Google Convincing Idiots, LINKTREE. That's how you spell Linktree, not Convincing Idiots. Convincing Idiots, then Linktree. There it will send you to a page that has nice little links. One click away is our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, email address, podcast platforms. It's fantastic. You're going to love it. Also, go to our Convincing Idiots website. That is convincingidiots.wordpress.com. Don't forget the www dot in front of all that. It's very important. You have to have it. So, once you go there, you like, you subscribe, leave reviews if you can on all of our podcast platforms. Tell them how much you love us and how great we are and how much sense that we don't make and how forgetful we are.
And
We
if you want to
appreciate
give us sense, there's a button there for there.
There
for
is
the-
a button
to
there. That's
us.
right. You can pay us to do this.
That's
You
right.
don't have to. You get it for free anyway. But if you want to throw a couple bones our way, maybe buy us a beer, we would appreciate it. Hell,
Mhm.
you don't even have to do that. If you want to come out and buy us a beer sometime, we also welcome that as well.
Sure.
So, for this episode of Convincing Idiots, I am your millennial, Nike chauffeur.
I am Dean, your Zennial Night Chauffeur. I'm coming for you.
Brian, Gen X.
Have we convinced you to remember who our idiot of the week is? Because we haven't convinced ourselves.
Nick Schofer.
Nike chauffeur out, bitches.